George Orwell's Animal Farm is one of the most famous books in the world because it tells a very powerful story in a very simple way. At first, it looks like a story about farm animals and their lives, but in reality, it is a story about people, society, politics, and how power can change even the best of ideas. The book was written in the middle of the 20th century, at a time when the world had just seen wars, dictators, and many political revolutions. Orwell wanted to show how revolutions, which usually start with good intentions and hopes for equality, often end up creating new forms of oppression. He chose to tell this through a fable, where animals represent people, and the farm represents society. This makes the book easy to read but very deep in meaning. The story begins on Manor Farm, a farm owned by a man named Mr. Jones. He is careless, lazy, and cruel to the animals. He often drinks too much and forgets to feed them properly. The animals work hard every day, but they never see the benefit of their work. They live hungry, tired, and without any real purpose. In this environment of hopelessness, an old pig named Old Major becomes an important figure. He is wise, respected, and thoughtful. One evening, Old Major gathers all the animals in the big barn to share a dream he has had. In his dream, he saw a world where animals are free, where they do not serve humans, and where they live happily by working for themselves. Old Major explains to the animals that humans are the real enemy. He tells them that humans take everything from animals, their milk, their eggs, their strength, and even their lives, and give nothing in return. He argues that if the animals unite and overthrow man, they can create a society based on equality, justice, and freedom. His words are very inspiring. The animals listen carefully, and for the first time, they feel that their suffering is not natural but caused by human greed. Old Major also teaches them a revolutionary song, Beasts of England, which becomes a symbol of their dream. The song gives them hope and courage. Shortly after giving this speech, Old Major dies, but his ideas do not die with him. They stay alive in the hearts of the animals. After his death, the pigs, who are considered the cleverest animals, take the responsibility to turn Old Major's ideas into a system. 3 pigs stand out as leaders: Snowball, Napoleon, and Squealer. Snowball is intelligent, energetic, and full of ideas. Napoleon is more quiet but very ambitious and cunning. Squealer is not as powerful as the other 2, but he is a master of words and persuasion. He can twist language in such a way that he makes lies sound like the truth. Together, they begin to organize the animals under a new philosophy called animalism. The rules of animalism are summarized in 7 commandments, which they paint on the barn wall. These commandments are meant to guide the animals in their new life, and they all focus on equality, freedom, and avoiding anything that humans do. The animals' chance comes sooner than expected. One evening, Mr. Jones forgets to feed them. The hungry animals cannot bear it anymore. They break into the storehouse to eat. When Jones and his men try to stop them, the animals fight back with anger and courage. To everyone's surprise, the humans are driven off the farm. The animals are victorious. Manor Farm is no longer under human control. The animals rename it Animal Farm to mark the beginning of a new era. For the first time in their lives, they feel free. At first, life after the rebellion feels beautiful. The animals work hard, but now they feel proud because the fruits of their labor belong to them. They no longer serve humans. The harvest is successful, and the animals feel joy and unity. They gather every week to discuss farm matters, and all animals have a voice. The 7 commandments are read out regularly to remind them of their purpose. They adopt Beasts of England as their anthem and sing it with passion. The atmosphere is full of hope. But slowly, differences between the leaders begin to show. Snowball and Napoleon do not agree on many things. Snowball is full of ideas about how to improve the farm. His biggest plan is to build a windmill that would generate electricity, reduce the animals' workload, and bring more comfort to their lives. Napoleon, however, opposes this idea. He argues that food production should be the priority. The animals are divided between the 2 leaders. Snowball gives powerful speeches to win their support, while Napoleon works quietly in the background. The tension grows until one day, during a meeting about the windmill, Napoleon unleashes a surprise. He whistles, and suddenly 9 large dogs rush into the barn. These dogs had been secretly raised by Napoleon since they were puppies, and now they serve as his private guards. They chase Snowball off the farm, and he disappears forever. Napoleon takes full control of Animal Farm, declaring himself the leader. From this point onward, things begin to change. Napoleon cancels the meetings where animals used to discuss and vote. He announces that all decisions will be made by a special committee of pigs, led by him. Squealer becomes his main mouthpiece, explaining to the animals why Napoleon's decisions are always correct. Whenever the animals have doubts, Squealer convinces them with clever words. He often says that questioning Napoleon would be disloyal and dangerous, and he constantly warns them about Snowball, who is now labeled as a traitor and enemy. Snowball, though gone, becomes a scapegoat for every problem on the farm. Napoleon even changes his mind about the windmill. He tells the animals that it was actually his idea all along, and Snowball had only tried to steal it. The animals, though confused, believe him. They work harder than ever to build the windmill, even though the work is exhausting. Boxer, the strong and loyal cart horse, becomes the symbol of hard work. His personal mottos, "I will work harder," and "Napoleon is always right," show both his dedication and his blind faith. One night, a storm destroys the windmill. The animals are heartbroken, but Napoleon quickly blames Snowball, accusing him of sneaking onto the farm to sabotage their efforts. The animals are angry at Snowball, even though they have no proof, because they trust Napoleon's words. They start seeing Snowball as the reason for every difficulty. As time passes, the pigs begin to enjoy more privileges. They move into the farmhouse, sleep in beds, eat better food, and drink alcohol, even though the commandments originally forbade these actions. Whenever the animals notice something wrong, Squealer cleverly explains it away. For example, when the pigs sleep in beds, the animals are reminded that the commandment actually says, "No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets." They are too uneducated to remember the original words, so they accept the changes. Napoleon's rule becomes harsher. He uses fear, propaganda, and violence to control the animals. Those who question him are punished, sometimes even executed by the dogs. The animals continue to work harder, but receive less food. Meanwhile, the pigs grow fatter and more comfortable. The gap between leaders and workers widens, even though the revolution was meant to create equality. Boxer continues to work harder, even as he grows old and weak. He believes that his hard work will help build the windmill and secure the future of Animal Farm. But one day he collapses while working. The animals are very worried about him. Napoleon tells them that Boxer will be sent to a hospital to recover. The animals feel relieved, but then they notice that the van taking Boxer away has the words "horse slaughterer" written on it. They realize too late that Napoleon has sold Boxer to a glue factory to get money for whiskey. Boxer's fate breaks the hearts of the animals, but Squealer lies to them again, saying Boxer died peacefully in a hospital. The animals, though sad, force themselves to believe the lie. In the final scenes of the book, the pigs have completely abandoned the principles of animalism. They walk on two legs, wear clothes, carry whips, and start trading openly with humans. The farm's name is changed back to Manor Farm. The 7 commandments, which once promised equality, have been replaced with a single chilling rule. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. When the animals look through the farmhouse window, they see the pigs eating and playing cards with the humans. They look from pig to man and man to pig, but they cannot tell the difference. The story of Animal Farm is not just about animals. It is about human society and how power works. Orwell shows that revolutions often begin with hope and dreams of fairness, but when power falls into the hands of a few, corruption follows. The pigs, who once promised equality, become the same as the humans they replaced. The book is a warning that freedom and justice are fragile. They can be lost when people stop questioning leaders, when lies replace truth, and when fear replaces unity. What makes Animal Farm special is its simplicity. The story can be understood by children as a tale about animals, but adults see the deeper message about politics and society. Orwell wrote it as an allegory of the Russian Revolution and the rise of Stalin, but the lessons apply to all times and places. It reminds us that power must always be watched carefully, because unchecked power leads to tyranny. The novel leaves us with a powerful image. the animals staring through the window, unable to see the difference between their rulers and the oppressors they once overthrew. It is a sad but important truth. Without fairness, honesty, and vigilance, the cycle of oppression repeats itself.